In HS 410, Issues in Aging, I learned a great deal of information about the elderly. In class, we were given the opportunity to listen to several excellent presentations. From the presentations of Dr. Fernando, Carey, and Dr. Davis, as well as others, I learned important information regarding the elderly. From Dr. Fernando, I learned the importance of interior architecture when it comes to creating a building for the care of the elderly. She taught us that there is a lot more consideration that should go into a building, such as a nursing home, than most people would think. For example, things such as even the pattern in the flooring are important in order to make sure the elderly are not confused. And having buildings, like nursing homes, feel as home-like as possible is also important. From Carey's presentation, I learned the difference between an SNF, RCAC, and CBRF. Prior to her presentation, I thought that all nursing homes were the same, and was not aware that there are in fact different types of long-term care facilities available to those that require their services. Another presentation that was very informational and taught me a lot was Dr. Davis's presentation. He shared a lot of great information about Social Security and Medicare. I had learned a lot of this in another class, but it was a good refresher, and I also learned some new information from him. From another presentation by Dr. Sommer, which I found to be very interesting, I learned how medications can affect the elderly. She shared with us how physiological changes in an elderly person's body can influence the impact of a drug. Also, that as an elderly person starts taking more medications, their chance of an adverse reaction increases. Another thing that I learned a lot from doing is the group project. By doing the group project, I learned how various diets may affect an elderly individual, and what diets, such as the Atkins, Paleo, and vegan diets, would be acceptable for an elderly person to utilize, and what diets would not be good for an elderly individual. By comparing all of the diets that my group researched with the MyPlate created by the USDA, we found out quickly what diets could be detrimental to an elderly individual's health and which diets could possibly work out and be a quality diet for the elderly. In my future role as a healthcare provider, I will be able to utilize the information that I have obtained in this class in several ways. I will know the special needs that the elderly have compared to the other patients and will therefore be able to adjust my care or recommendations as needed. I will be able to use the information from Dr. Fernando if I'm ever asked to give my opinion on things such as renovations and selecting furniture or carpeting. The information provided by Dr. Sommer will be especially useful because if a patient is sharing symptoms with me, I can decide if they are from a medication or if they are true symptoms. To sum everything up, I will be able to use a lot of the information from this class in order to become a great healthcare provider, and this information will be beneficial to me when I am working with an elderly patient. I hope to one day be such a great healthcare provider that my patients, in the words of Michael Scott, fear how much they love me.